Welcome. Today's guest is Niranjan Vaidyakularatne, Senior Vice President for Info Technology and Practice at Fortude. Niranjan has over 15 years' experience in fashion alone, and he started that at Brandix, our parent company, which is an apparel manufacturer in Sri Lanka. Since then, he's worked in all aspects of the industry, so he has a truly global perspective on all things fashion, manufacturing to retail, east to west. Hi Niranjan, lovely to have you with us today. The fashion industry relies on a complex global supply chain in order to optimize costs and ensure profits in a really volatile and competitive market. But it's also increasingly coming under pressure now to ensure sustainability across that supply chain while still keeping costs manageable. So what does that mean for brand owners and manufacturers today?
Thanks for inviting me today, Monalee. Well, in terms of sustainability for brand owners and manufacturers, at the very least, it means that they need to record a lot more data with relation to each and every transaction right across the supply chain, from design to sourcing to manufacturing to sales and distribution. In the past, we have seen people address this by assigning dedicated staff just to record that information around sustainability around each and every transaction in the business. But now in today's world, that is a very expensive activity. So more and more we see companies turning to automated or IT solutions to do this for them. Our modern product lifecycle management systems, or PLMs, ERPs, our logistics tracking systems, our supply chain tracking systems, our trading platforms provide that facility whereby they can record all the relevant transactions and link them one to the other right across the chain. Our planning systems can be tweaked now to include sustainability related metrics into supply chain and production planning. The transactions which are recorded in the transactional systems can easily be integrated with modern document archiving solutions, which gives us the capability to link in all the relevant documentation, whether it is a supplier accreditation, whether it is an inspection report for a material, whether it is a purchase order, an invoice, whatever the documentation pertaining to each and every activity can be stored in the document archive and then retrieved along with the transactional information as and when required. So that manual activity of having to compile all of these into reports and provide to our customers and even to the government is now fully automated. On top of that, we have our business intelligence solutions now, which can be used to combine the transactional data with information from external systems. It could be a data source such as a carbon footprint monitoring system. It could be a banking or a trade platform. It could be fair trade databases and so on, and even demographic information. All this information can now be combined to provide comprehensive sustainability related metrics at the touch of a button, rather than having to spend days or weeks compiling it as we did in the past.
These days, as a result of all these sustainability issues, there's a lot of talk about onshoring production. What are your views on that? Do you think it's the end of the era of offshore manufacturing?
In my view, onshoring gives the brand owner a little bit more control over the product and the process, but it doesn't ensure a focus on sustainability. Whereas large-scale contract manufacturers have dedicated processes put in place to suit each and every customer and the specific business process, right across the chain, from design to development to production to distribution. The processes are optimized for efficiency and transparency in terms of information. They achieve that by leveraging more IT solutions to provide consistent information across the entire chain.
So do you have any examples of any companies that are actually using these sorts of ideas in their business processes?
Yes, Monalee. From our experience in implementing the Infor M3 and Cloud Suite systems, we've been able to use the material traceability functionality, which normally is used with food and beverage implementations in the apparel industry. And we are able to provide complete traceability of materials from the supplier right up to the individual garment orders that get shipped out. On top of that, we use the Infor document management solution to link in the relevant documents to each and every transaction, both system generated documents such as purchase orders, invoices, and so on, as well as external documents such as supplier accreditations, fabric inspection reports, shipment documentation, bank documentation, and so on.
Manufacturers have always got the smallest proportion of the RRP of a fashion product. But with margins so small, it's really difficult to cover the cost of sustainability initiatives, including paying fair wages to their employees. So with all these sustainability drives, are you finding that manufacturers are now getting a better price for their product?
That's a tough question, Monalee. It all depends on the market really, and that continuous commitment from the consumer to buy sustainably produced apparel. Also, the commitment from the authorities to incentivize sustainable production through tax and duty incentives. For the manufacturer themselves, implementing a system such as this will ensure that they are able to provide that transparency, that information in a consistent manner with minimum cost. And by doing so, they are able to justify their pricing as well.
Next up in our series, we delve into sustainability through collaboration in the supply chain. So join me when I talk to some of our supply chain experts on how they use tech to tackle some of those big issues.